A brief history of the Trud dance. The Trud dance is a Mon Khmer cultural heritage that the Khmer people of the Pre Phnom region, such as the Samre Sui and Por, as well as the Khmer people in Sisaket, Surin, Siem Reap, Pursat, Batambang, and some other people in other provinces, especially most ministries, state and private institutions, always celebrate during the Khmer New Year, or when wild animals run into the village, etc. The Chinese have the Mong Sai dance to perform, to drive away misfortunes and evils. In fact, the Trud dance is a festival that passes from the old year to the new year, from misfortunes and evils to prosperity and happiness. The word Trud dance refers to the time when the old year ends to move on to the new year. In this sense, the Trud dance that is celebrated is to determine the end of each year in the view of the Khmer people who live in the highlands and plains. Therefore, during this festival, they bless the new year with happiness. In the same sense, not celebrating the festival of the cross or not celebrating this dance for any reason can bring all kinds of sorrow and sorrow. This is the first meaning of the Trud dance. The second meaning is also similar to this, namely, the Trud dance is danced when wild animals such as the fox, the snake and the snake enter the village. In fact, it is also performed to drive away, expelled, all kinds of evil from the village, and this ceremony is called the village ceremony or the village ceremony. The main symbol of the Trud dance to express the deeper meaning, apart from the presence of the dancers holding the signs to determine the lyrics, is the presence of the dancer holding a curved stick, shaped like a plough, with a bell or peacock feather at the end. Another main symbol is the presence of two other dancers dancing in the manner of courting animals, with horns and tusks on their heads. It should be noted that the two dancers, the white animals, represent hunters chasing the white animals they are hunting. Another example that shows the sacred nature of this dance is the presence of a black-painted wild man with a head adorned with flowers and leaves, a forest god who protects the mountains and forests and helps the hunters in their hunting. Thus, through the presence of the characters, the dancers, who are animals or forest gods who represent good or bad natures, we can recognize the sacred nature of the Trud dance, which is the festival of the end of the old year and the beginning of the new year of our Khmer people, which is animistic. Moreover, the role of this dance in Khmer society is to provide benefits and happiness to people in society by reuniting their bonds and solidarity. This view is certainly not an Indian cultural heritage, but a Mon Khmer cultural heritage that is thousands of years old and has lasting value to this day. In this dance, the unity of Khmer people of all social classes is strengthened again in order to achieve progress and happiness with hope. Another sacred feature of the Trud dance is the belief in ancestors under the image of a white peacock or peacock, which reflects the image of unity in religious beliefs. It should be noted that the fact that ethnic minorities, Khmer Loi and Khmer people, celebrate this dance is not a coincidence, but this act shows the common culture between the Khmer people of the Mon Khmer and the Khmer people, as well as the age of this good tradition. Source. The Trud dance is a dance of the Samre people, an indigenous people who have lived since ancient times. The Samre people today live in many villages north of Tonle Sap Lake. Every new year, the Samre people always take this Trud dance to visit the Khmer king in Angkor, a popular way that is popularly performed during the new year to bless the locals. In addition, the Trud dance also brings together the belief of praying for rain during drought. In this dance, the peacock's tail is often used because it is believed that the peacock represents the sun. People pray to the sun, asking it to provide enough rain for the fields. Note, today, Trud dance is only found in Siem Reap and Batambang provinces. Musical instruments and performance instruments. Dang Kancha, made of a 2-meter long Wooden stick with small wooden sticks attached at the ends and bent into a cone shaped like 4 horns. At the end of the stick there is a string tied from one end to the other, and in the middle of the string is a string of acacia fruit with all the seeds removed and a pebble or metal ball placed in it, so that it can be heard when the stick is hit on the ground in accordance with the rhythm of the drum, changkrang dambe, tied with a string and a bamboo stick. This string is also hung. When it is hit on the ground, it makes a loud sound in accordance with the rhythm. Changkrang rong. These strings are hung in clusters to be heard during performances. In addition, there are earthen drums, trung and trung, clown face, made of bamboo bones covered with paper or meat, or kmok, crown, made of paper with glue applied to it to make it hard, namely kmok or kmok, and painted. Horns, horns of a peacock, peacock tail. Nails, take a 0.2 meter long rattan, cut the ends to be sharp, and burn the kmok, and tie it with a thread to the 4 fingers, and the thumb is not needed. 3. Performers. The person holding the kancha stick represents the Khan or class. The person wearing the clown face represents the hunter, representing the kmok god. The person using the kancha stick represents the evil or evil nature. Dancers, the main character, the goddess. The musicians represent the gods. The person wearing the kmok note. The average number of performers in a trud dance is 25. The characters that are used in this performance are related to the belief that in villages near and far, wild animals occasionally enter the village of the locals. It is believed that if a wild animal enters the village, there will be a disaster. They sprinkle oil and powder on the animal and ask for blessings from the animal. With this belief, the locals created this dance, which involves white animals, such as ostriches and peacocks, all white, which are wild animals. They show the locals that if they sprinkle oil and powder on their hands and tie them with thread, if a wild animal comes next time, there will be no disaster. According to some documents related to Buddhism, when the Buddha was a bodhisattva, he went out to build a temple, and he appeared as a white animal to block the way for him to go to the monastery. The bodhisattva who had established the temple was also angry with the gods. The gods then took their positions, shot the disguised man to death, and then marched the bodhisattva to build a temple, achieving the desired result. How to perform. First, all the performers must soften their bodies to thank the teacher. All. The wild people come out with a non-violent attitude, moving their bodies left and right, moving their bodies back and forth outside the circle, and many of them move forward. Their bodies sway in accordance with the rhythm of the drum, their hands only slightly swaying, not dancing. The hunter wears torn banana leaves, ties a belt around his waist, and paints his body black. The person wearing horns, using a turban, performs a pose similar to a wild hunter and a wild person. Both hands are brought to the horns, and they stretch forward to form a turban, stepping on the back. They dance in a rhythmic manner, like a turban. A turban is suddenly struck, and then use the turban and turban to form a turban, moving out of the circle each time. The main characters and the female characters are mostly female dancers. The 2 main characters wear colorful scarves, colorful shirts, crowns, and peacock tails. The other 2 female characters wear colorful silk skirts, colorful shirts, and no robes, and they are tied with a samyang. These 2 characters have the gentlest style, with the appearance of a young woman. The nail-wearer and the musical instrument holder are secondary characters. The nail-wearer helps sing and gives rhythm to the drums by tapping their nails and swaying their bodies to the rhythm. The musical instrument holder, especially the gong beater and the gong bearer, helps the drums and sways to the rhythm of the drums and gongs.